Summer is a time of travel, and every summer, millions of visitors flock to America's national parks, hoping to spot a moose, bear, or wolf in the wild. But even with abundant wildlife around, those magical encounters remain surprisingly rare. A groundbreaking new study has finally revealed why. The COVID-19 pandemic shutdowns in 2020 created an unprecedented natural experiment. For the first time in history, America's busiest national parks fell silent, giving scientists a unique opportunity to observe how wildlife behaves when humans disappear. A multinational team of over 60 researchers from 13 universities, including the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, partnered with the National Park Service to track animal behavior across 14 national parks and protected areas. Using GPS collars, they monitored 229 animals, including wolves, mountain lions, grizzly bears, black bears, foxes, moose, elk, mule deer, mountain goats, and bighorn sheep. The researchers compared animal movements during the 2020 pandemic shutdowns to the same period in 2019, when parks like Yellowstone, Yosemite, the Grand Canyon, Zion, and Glacier were bustling with tourists. COVID provided ecologists with a valuable natural experiment, said researcher John Benson. We know that animals can respond strongly to humans, but it's often not clear whether they respond to the human footprint of roads, trails, and development, or to the humans themselves. Our study allowed us to separate the foot from the footprint. The results were surprising. While animals generally avoid roads, parking lots, trails, and campgrounds, their reactions varied dramatically. Some species and individuals took advantage of the quiet, exploring areas they usually avoided. Others stuck to old habits, avoiding human infrastructure even when it was completely empty. Lead author Caitlin Gaynor from the University of British Columbia explained, "Wildlife all around the world fear people and avoid areas of high human activity, but it was surprising to see that this holds true even in more remote protected areas." Species show different patterns of caution and adaptation. Bighorn sheep and mountain lions remain particularly wary, while mule deer and elk in Zion National Park actually prefer being closer to developed areas. This counterintuitive behavior might be because their predators avoid people, so staying near humans reduces their risk of becoming prey. In parks with more development, wildlife was more likely to explore previously avoided areas during closures. However, the shift wasn't as dramatic as 2020 headlines suggested. When Yosemite reopened, black bears that had grown accustomed to abundant food in the valley didn't want to leave, creating management challenges. Most animals maintained their usual avoidance behavior even when parks were closed. The researchers believe the 58-day average closure period may not have been long enough for animals to sense real change. Additionally, animals that avoid people were already pushed to quieter areas, while those used to humans barely noticed the difference. This research, published in Proceedings of the Royal Society B, reveals the complex relationship between wildlife and human recreation. Before the pandemic, U.S. national parks received 327 million visits in 2019, a number that climbed to nearly 332 million in 2024. The study provides crucial evidence that conservation can coexist with recreation at low levels, but emphasizes the need to keep some areas exclusively for wildlife. As Gaynor noted, while we often think of national parks as some of the last truly wild places on Earth, some also receive intense visitation by humans. Understanding how our presence shapes wildlife behavior is essential for balancing the dual mandate of national parks, preserving natural resources while providing enjoyment for people. For more on this story, find a link to the full article on Earth.com in the description.